Hello everyone and welcome back to another UAE Racing Podcast. I am here with the two lovable rogues. We have Callum Medell and Gary Capewell. If you could say hello please.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, they're going to take you through £22,000 worth of money, if they can do once again. But we start off with...
I hope you lose it.
Well, you're going to have to ask Mr. Medell about that.
Yeah. Somebody won 22 grand of a couple of my tips on Thursday.
That's just what we do here. We get the winners, obviously. A big turnaround from the first.
I mean, that must make you feel so good
Sick.
about yourself, Callum. The fact that you've not won a bean and that somebody scooped 22 grand. That must make you feel warm inside, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just makes your day, doesn't it? Really.
Would do mine.
Amazing. We go to Meydan, obviously, with the District 1 trophy. His Highness Sheikh Hamdan has Nafur and Al Arif here. Nafur ran 27 days ago and has nice form this season, whilst Al Arif ran 21 days ago and came 7th on seasonal reappearance. Is there any you like in here, Callum, at all?
Not hugely, if I'm perfectly honest. It's obviously a local race. Mutaram, I think, is as solid as they come. Really, I like he's drawn low. I think he was drawn low when he won here 2 starts back and was pretty game then, and then was really unlucky to bump into North America last time. He's obviously followed up of a £14 high mark in a carnival race last week. So I think he's probably just about the one to beat. And I think the two Hamdan Al Maktoum runners are probably the most solid elsewhere. Al Arif, he's probably a bit better of a shorter Al Arif, and he won over 6 and 7 last year. But he probably does stay a mile. But I would say his best trips are probably a bit shorter. He did need his return, and I think he's capable of this sort of mark, but maybe over 7 furlongs or so. I think Nather's rock solid, really, in good heart as he comes here. So, and a lot of them have plenty to prove. So I'd just go with Mutaram, who's as solid as they come, really.
Yes, he's a 3 times course and distance winner in non-carnival company, obviously. Is there anything you like in here particularly, Gary?
Not really. I think Mutaram and Nather are pretty solid. They win in their turn as well. Neither of them have got the most convincing strike rate of the world, it has to be said, but they can at least usually be relied upon to run their race. Don't think Al Arif quite sees out this trip, to be perfectly honest. Pit stops back down to his last winning mark, but he's not the most frequent of winners. I was maybe going to chance Active Spirit, who, like Mutaram, actually ran behind North America on his most recent outing just after Christmas. Fairly well beaten on indication, but I don't think there was any sort of disgrace. I know he was third, but he was beaten in a fair way, but there's no real disgrace in that. And he'd bumped into Storm Medal prior to that. But he likes it here, crucially. That's the main thing. He won here a couple of times, around about this sort of time last year, that he began his winning streak. He lowered the colours of Blue Creek, who was all the rage to win a handicap on the Saturday. On a Saturday card. So I don't know. It's not a strong start. I just think price-wise, he might be a little bit overpriced. Active Spirit, so he'll do for me in the opener.
Lovely. Yes. I think the Secret Ambition is possibly one to watch here. He's had 2 wins over 7 furlongs and a mile at Jebel Ali. But obviously, this is much tougher company. For me, I'm going to side with Nafur in this race, in the opener. So we've got Mutaram, Active Spirit and Nafur. We might have a winner out of those, possibly, probably not. But we're going to move on to the fillies, the lasses that I know Callum loves. We got the UAE 1000 Guineas trial. Don't lie, Kitten comes here after a relatively good run behind her elders for Sheikh Hamdan. She struggled a bit, but the hood's removed now, and obviously Jim Crowley's aboard. There's 2 Godolphin horses in here who have 3, that have fantastic chances. Any of them you like specifically, Gary?
Well, obviously Godolphin have got 3 in the race. Voice of Truth, who won at Chelmsford in October. Was beaten at 1-5, though, when very disappointing at Newcastle before that put me off. I thought Complimentary.
I'd probably say that was probably because of the virus or something. Would you not?
It's just a trip, I think. I think they blamed the trip.
Oh, okay.
But either way, she's drawn out in the car park in 14, which won't help. Similar comments for Compliment. You shaped okay on racecourse debut here in the conditions race when finishing third, but it's drawn quite wide. I know nothing about Spanish Moon's form, but she is unbeaten. She's 2 from 2 in Russia and comes over here. What you make of that, I have absolutely no idea. The Swedish Raider is fairly interesting because we know that she handles the dirt, unlike some of these, and she will stay, and she's okay-ish drawn. So maybe that might be one that could potentially be overpriced. But to be honest, I think it concerns the other 2 Godolphin horses for me. Calais, who's won a couple of times in her career, won a listed race at the Curragh when last seen. That bounced back to a bit of form. Should go on the surface looking at the breeding, but again, until they try it, you're never 100% sure. I'd have to stick with the unbeaten filly here. Really special. They won at Chelmsford on racecourse debut, and then subsequently won at Newmarket back on the 29th of October. That was a listed race, winning quite comfortably, really. Made all the running on both occasions. Again, she might be all right on the dirt. Again, it's difficult to be 100% sure, obviously, but the fact that she's got a nice draw in 3 and she's been smartly away on both her starts, I think she could be out and away and possibly gone. If there's to be an upset, I think it might well come from Sasha Waltz, but I think I'll stick with Really Special.
Yeah, I like the Sveriges runners, the Swedish runners as well myself. Not sure how they handled the dirt over here not over here, but over there in the UAE anyway.
Well, I've been to Bro Park when that opened. That's the place where Sasha Waltz won on her most recent outing. It's deep. It's proper deep. But it's just a question of the form of those races. Again, difficult really to sort of equate, but she should handle the surface at least, which I don't think all of them will. And with there being such a big field, that could be a telling factor in the closing stages.
Gotcha, I get you. Cheers. Callum, anyone you like in here particularly?
Between the 2 Godolphin horses, I think it's just pretty obvious to say, but I think it's...
Them.
Well, yes, I am. Of course, there is a Voice of Truth. I think definitely needs to step up, and Really Special has got much more obvious claims than her. But I was more concerning Really Special and Calais, obviously. Calais certainly got the pedigree more for dirt than Really Special, but I do think Really Special has a lot more potential. Really impressed by her last year. Thought she made a good debut over 6 furlongs, and then stepped up to a mile, and she made all. She was quite keen early on, but she made all really readily in the end, and she beat Island Vision, who also goes in this race for David Simcock. It's just the potential side in her, and I agree with the draw with Gary as well. You can see her at Way and Gone before a couple of the others that have fairly decent claims that are drawn wide and can get to her. Calais, like I said, the pedigree is encouraging for dirt. She probably improved to win a pretty ordinary listed race at the Curragh last time. It's actually interesting. You watched that. She tried to take a bite out of the second horse as they were fighting the finish. It's quite interesting, but so she might not be fully straightforward, but I think she's got decent claims. So the other factor for me is that Saibinser has a much better record on dirt than Charlie Appleby does, and I know Appleby's had a few winners in local races, but he's still not had a carnival winner, so that would kind of concern me a little bit. I think if there's one bar the Godolphin trio to concern, the rest will be Complimenti. I thought ran a lovely race on her debut late last month against 2 Godolphin colts. Actually, Van der Decken won the race and Fly at Dawn was second, but I thought she was the one to take out of the race without doubt, and she's certainly not out of her depth here. In fact, she's well worth her place in the field, and she's a dirt horse. She's trained by the right man, so I think she'll run well.
Lovely, yes. Complimenti, obviously, with Pat Dobbs, so one to always be watching there. There's 2 I actually quite like myself, bar the Godolphin trio. Midnight Chica won a 4.5 furlong maiden at Keeneland. She was well beaten on her debut in the UAE, but obviously Druba knows how to set them up for this one. She was miles behind her elders by 20 or somewhat lengths, but she should improve.
I just can't have anything. I can't have anything from that. I can't have anything from that yard at the moment. Honestly, if I was an animal on Juba Selvaratnam's farm, I'd be very worried at the moment in case he has a few more winners.
I think he's had one winner all season, is it?
He's had one winner all season, yeah.
Yeah. But I just think he's a nice filly to go through, and it is Druba's time, exactly. Another one I'd look at is No More Rich Blondes. She was winner on debut, and now the hood's removed again, but obviously Ahmed bin Hamash knows how to set them up. He's done well with Fitzgerald, but obviously that didn't peter out into anything. But like you say, it does really depend on what the Godolphin lot do, and I'm personally going to go with Claire. I was really taken with her Irish listed win on her final start. Her pedigree's is suggestive that she'll handle the dirt with Dabawi out of a Stormcat mare, but yeah, she's technically £6 higher to really special, so for me it's going to be Claire. Whilst for the other two, I assume you're going for a really special.
Yeah.
Correct.
Lovely. We move on to the third race on the card, the Maiden Sobher Trophy Handicap, a 5 furlong race on the turf. We have Maljar, who's just come over from Roger Varian yard to the Al Mahari yard, who does absolutely fantastic with these sorts of types. Along with Mubtaga, who hasn't really shown much on the dirt, and now he's back on the turf after a few iffy runs. Is there any one that takes your eye in here, Callum?
Yeah, it's probably not the strongest of Maidan 5 furlong handicaps. Top rate is only 105, whereas the other day we had Tajal off 116. So, a few that caught my eye, I think Maljar is pretty obvious, really. First time out for Masaba Al Mahari, a horse that has a lot of ability when trained by Roger Varian. He won a couple of good quality handicaps back in 2015 at Haydock, and wasn't really at his best last year. I think by his close 7th at Ascot in July. It was a bit of a disappointing season for him because it looked like he could potentially become a group horse last year, but I think Masaba Al Mahari could easily bring on again. He's quite likely raced still for a 5-year-old, and I expect him probably to be at the head of the market. Two that I liked, both actually British trained. I think Sir Maximilian back with Pat Dobbs on board is rock solid. I thought he ran a good race 2 weeks ago behind Ertijal, travelled there to come and win his race, and it just didn't quite pan out for him. In fact, there's quite a few horses from that race that are around that sort of position that are in the race. I think High on Life was in there. Who else was in there? I can't remember now. But there's 5th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, those sort of areas that the horses in there. Line of Reason was one as well. So they're all pretty closely matched, but Sir Maximilian's proven at Maidan, and he's still £4 lower than when winning here last year, so I think he's rock solid claims. And Harry Hurricane I thought was very interesting horse, a strong travelling horse who should be well suited to Maidan. Won a couple of times last year, including a valuable York handicap back in May. Also wasn't disgraced in the Prix de l'Abbé when last seen in October. George Baker's a trainer that is no stranger to success in Dubai, and I think he's a horse that could go on again as a 5-year-old. So they were the two that caught my eye. I'm hoping they can both be decent prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if Maljar was too good for them.
Yeah, I quite like that myself. Roger Varian won 4 races with Maljar. He did say he was targeting the Prix d'Abbé with him, so that's something to look into there, considering how highly he thought of him. Dream Dubai as partner with Bernard Fade Herb. Is that how you spell it, Gary? Or say it, Gary? How'd you say it?
Something like that.
Is there
I'm hoping
here, Gary?
I'm hoping he's not got a ride in the race that I call out there in a couple of weeks, to be honest.
I hope he does.
Just don't say his name.
Yeah. I'm sure Terry will tell me. I think the obvious two, and again this will depend on the prices, are Maljar and Harry Hurricane. Like Harry Hurricane a lot. I think he'll be a bigger price, so I'd probably tip him over Maljar. But I do expect better from Maljar out here. But Harry Hurricane should get the race run to suit him. He's drawn high again, which I still maintain is pretty crucial to me. I'd rather be higher than low. Let's put it that way. Albeit the Godolphin horse won from 2 last Saturday, but even still, he ended up in the centre of the course and was far too good for them anyway. So, but they ended up coming towards the near side the last couple of weeks, haven't they, within the sprints? And I still maintain I'd prefer rather to be drawn high than low. So, Harry Hurricane, who, as we pointed out, or as Cannon pointed out, won a couple of times last year, won at Haydock on his final start in the UK before. He was beaten 5 1/4 lengths in the Abbey, but he wasn't disgraced considering that was a Group 1 class. You often find that with sprinters, don't you, the top class handicappers. There's not really a lot of difference between them and the group sprinters themselves. But Harry Hurricane for me, still 13, perfect draw. So I think he's fairly treated off 99 as well. And this, for a Meydan sprint, as Calmus pointed out, probably isn't the strongest.
Yeah, personally, I'm not a fan of Harry Hurricane myself, but, we move on, we disagree and all that sort of thing. I quite like Dream Dubai, who is partnered by Bernard. Mike de Kock trains him for the first time, bought by Mohammed Khalifa Al-Basti for 55,000 guineas, so obviously he looked the part, and just about whether he can transfer it over. So Maximilian is definitely always one to watch in these types of races, a dual course and distance winner, even a Group 3 in 2015, so handicaps could be easy enough for him, but overall my pick will be for Maljar in this race, considering everything the hype is around him. And we're going to move on to the Meydan Sobha, the 4:15 UK time and the 8:15 Dubai time. His Highness Sheikh Hamdan has Munasir and Etijah in this one, whilst Godolphin have Fog of War, who I've got in my Godolphin picks. Is there any you like in here, Gary? Do you like Fog of War at all?
Yeah, I think he's very interesting, isn't he? It's interesting that Christophe Simeon's been booked to ride him as well. He's got a good draw towards the inside in stall 1. Obviously, as I've been seen to finishing second in the that big race, I think was at the Irish Cambridge. I think it probably was, wasn't it? But he wasn't beaten far in that particular contest. He's nicely berthed towards the inside. He's won on the synthetics at Dundalk in the past. How he'll handle the dirt here is a different question, but crucially, because it's over 10 furlongs, it's a fairly shortish run to the bend, he's got a good draw provided he's not slowly away in 1. He has to have every claims. They've put the visor on top clearance, which is quite interesting. Top clear, so Hunting Grounds finished second behind Misbah. He was well beaten that day, but nothing was really going to catch Misbah on that occasion. Munasa up at the top weight, comes back onto the dirt. He's had a few runs on the turf of late. He was obviously 7th in round 1 of the Al Maktoum Challenge. But the Korean horse is obviously interesting. I think they've dubbed this horse the best horse in Korea. He beat Powerblade, who hit the frame last week at a okay sort of each way kind of price. He hit the frame last week in a mile handicap behind North America. But this horse, 999, beat him by 5 lengths in a domestic Group 1 in Seoul back in November. The Koreans are very much trying to announce themselves on the global sort of stage. They obviously have their big meeting now in September, where obviously some of the horses trained out in Dubai went over, but they're trying to emerge themselves as a decent sort of racing nation, and obviously they want to be seen on the global stage. And he's okay drawn in stall 4, 999 as well. So again, I think I'd take the coward's way out, and I can imagine he'll be an each way price, so I'd probably tip him up each way.
Yeah, he's 14-1 with Sporting Life. I'm not sure if that's anything you want to go off, but
that will not be 14-1.
The best
no, I don't think so.
No, I don't see that either. Yeah, I do like him. Pat Cosgrave's booked. He's obviously flying at the moment with a few wins from Sabah Mahari. There's 3 runners at the bottom here: Los Barbados, Beach Bar and Grand Argentina for the Emirates Entertainment Racing Club. Is there any of them you like, Callum, or are you picking something else in this?
Los Barbados out of the 3, if there was, he's just still quite lightly raced. Beach Bar just isn't a dirt horse, and Grand Argentier would have claims on some of his form last year, certainly when he won a local race over a mile here, but I don't know, 10 furlongs, and he hasn't really returned in great form, but you wouldn't be surprised if he bounced back at some point, maybe not here. It's a pretty disappointing turnout. I think it's fair to say it's not a very good race. 999 actually priced up as favourite in the end, just because that form.
Oh, don't be doing that to me.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Nick, honestly, we're never going to get a price if
he's
keep
got all
putting
these
them in too
traders
short.
following him now.
It's only my tissue. No one listens to it.
All these
But-
traders following him.
Come on, I mean,
They do listen.
the horse, the Korean horse last week was priced up as favourite, wasn't it? So, and that's not as good.
Yeah.
So, just going by what I thought would happen. Look, the form stacks up pretty well, doesn't it? Like Cape has said, it was a easy winner of the President's Cup. He's also got form with Success Story, who was twice placed here last year. So, the form adds up. I think a mark of 105 is probably pretty fair. I ended up falling in the lap of Manasseh, to be honest, just because he's a horse that's proven around here. He won a handicap over course and distance. It might have even been this handicap last year that he won first time out for Masaba El Maheri. Was it Ali Arahi, sorry. And then he went off a bit too quick, I thought, in the Al Maktoum Challenge last time. I didn't think he was disgraced one bit, really, and it's a considerable drop in grade. So he was the one that I kind of fell on. Fog of War, if he's not really bred for dirt, he's coming off a layoff, but you really wouldn't be surprised if he did the business. Really, he's a bit of a grinder horse that might be suited by dirt, but his pedigree wouldn't leap off the page for dirt, certainly. And a lot of the others don't convince at all, really. Top Clearance, but Druba's thought the horses aren't in form, and there's a few coming off layoffs or coming off pretty ordinary runs. So yeah, I fell on Manasseh, but I'd really like to see the Korean horse win 999 actually, and I'm going to wait for the prices, but I'll tentatively put up Manasseh and see what 999's price is.
Okay. I'm not sure it's a good thing for you two to go for the same one again, but you never know. Yeah, I like Manasseh in this one, of course. I followed him for a while now. He's done quite well. 7th, and he wasn't disgraced, as Callum said. I think one to possibly watch in this one's Hunting Ground. Second to Mizbar, which is 7.5 lengths, but he shouldn't. He's gone down about £2 for that, I think, or £1. And I mean, in this type of race, he should come on bundles for that. And the owner and trainer had a 1-2 at Maidan on Saturday. So yeah, Fog of War, obviously with Saeed Bin Saror, he's doing fantastically well out there. I think with horses who have been over like 300 or 400 days off, he's won all 3 of them. So like Red Galileo, for example. So definitely one to watch. But I'm going to stick with Callum as well and go for Manasseh here, because I do like Top Clearance, but they're just not running as you like or hope them to. And yeah, we're going to move on to the Al Fadi Fort, the Group 2 here. We got 8 runners over a 7 furlong trip. Is there anything you like here, Callum, at all?
Yeah, to be honest, this race for me revolves around one horse, and that's Mike de Coxnoer from Goa, who I ended up watching quite a few of his replays today, and he's such a likeable horse. Just the way he travels, the way he goes about things. He's just looks a really talented horse, and he's mixing it with some of the best in South Africa. Third to Legal Eagle last time back in January. Now, it's a horse that's coming off a significant layoff, obviously come through some sort of quarantine from South Africa. He's entitled to need the run, but I think it's interesting that he's been out in Dubai, I think, since October, and the other horse that was out at the same time, that travelled over at the same time, I think, was Like the Lights, who obviously won the Singspiel Stakes 2 weeks ago. So it looks like these horses that have had a bit of time, they might be fit and ready to go. And I think he's got the class maybe just about to prevail here, to be honest, because I think he could easily be potentially a Group 1 Carnival horse. I think that form in South Africa is very, very good. And we've seen time and time again horses that have come over from Mike de Kock, or horses like Variety Club and Vercingetorix, that when they do come over here, they're as good as anything around. So I think he could easily be that sort of type, and if so, they'll be looking to seeing him going very close. Bar him, I think you have to look at Flashfire, who was impressive in a handicap 2 weeks ago. I think he's got to step up again, and he's also a horse that has a bit of a flat spot, I find, over 7, and maybe that catches him out a little bit in only a small field, but if he runs to that sort of level again, I think he's going to be knocking on the door. And likewise, Championship, who was just beaten agonisingly by the lights in the Singsfield stage, and the drop back to 7, I think will suit him. Yeah, same reaction as well. But I think the drop back to 7 will probably suit him. Actually, he's got a lot of speed. He's quite keen over 9 furlongs and probably just about didn't get home. And I think that's drop back in triple certainly suits him. So I think he's going to be thereabouts. But bar him, Dragon Ball, I think is quite interesting. He was one I had down for a handicap, so I'm a little bit surprised he's here. I thought there's definitely a handicap in him over maybe a mile off a mark of around 104, but we'll see what happens here. I'll be keeping an eye on him, but it's all about nerve and go for me, and I'm gonna tip him up.
All right. Yeah, Championship, I think, let us all down, didn't he, Gary? Anything you like here?
Well, I mean, obviously, the horse that you've got to look at mainly is obviously Noah from Goa. That form is fantastic. I was reading Mike Cox said he had a slight setback in Newmarket en route to Dubai, but they wanted to have him back for the Zabeel Mile, maybe even the Al Fahidi Thought. So obviously he's in the Al Fahidi Thought. It's a tricky one. Whether from a betting point of view, it depends how they price it up. I mean, ultimately they do see him as a miler, so how fit he'll have him, I'm not just sure, but he might be able to get away with it, to be honest. The Turkish runner, he's got some decent form in Turkey, but again, probably needs to step up on what we've seen thus far. Certainly, I know they rate him quite highly, but he'll have to step up again. Championship could easily get the run of the race here out in front, and with 8 runners as it stands, it would probably be the each way sort of call, really. I mean, Anaravio has won this race before, shaped well on his seasonal return, but it'd be disappointed if the 9-year-old was good enough to win it. And obviously, Flash Fire was very impressive when he won that handicap here on the opening night of the carnival. He quickened up really smartly down the centre of the track. He won by 2.5 lengths, but it was a very easy 2.5 lengths. Whether you could trust him to back up, though, I'm not just sure. So I don't know where I stand with this one. Again, it will all be depending on the prices. I should imagine Now From Goal will probably be favourite. From a betting point of view, I'd maybe just tip up Championship each way, or if Flash Fire is sort of, I don't know, it's all going to depend on the prices, really. Championship each way is the cop-out.
Whatever happens, win, lose or draw, Capers took the price and he beat the bookie, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
It's all that matters.
Yeah.
It is if you're doing it to lose it to the tune of £22,000.
Oh God! Here we go again.
Never living that down, am I?
Never. No. I like Noah from Joe, obviously, the one to watch here. Mike DeCock always does a fantastic job on his website telling you how the horse should run, and most times, more than not, they will run to that. So I think he's the one to look at here. For me, I think the race will pan out like this. Championship will go to the front. Flashfire will be in the middle, park somewhere, stalking him, and I think Flashfire will come through and win the actual race for me. So I don't look at prices, I just go on horses to win. And I've only had one winner in the past 15 races, so you know.
Good stuff, Alex. Good stuff, Alex.
At least I'm leading the purebred Arabians. That's all I can say. But yeah, I think we're going to move on swiftly to the District 1 handicap because I know nothing about that Group 2 for Al Fahidi 4. There's a few shake hands.
This is a shocker as well.
Oh, it's bad.
I have a really nice one in here, I think. I think Shashi's really nice in this one. Don't you?
I went round and round in circles and decided nothing could win this.
There's actually one I like in it.
Alright, let's start with you, Callum. Who'd you like?
Capers.
Yeah, good idea. Well,
go on.
I'll tell you what, I didn't know what could win. I would have tipped Giftorm up each way simply because he hits the frame here on a couple of occasions. Ultimately, he wants a little bit further, but he's my each way tip. Sorry.
It's like he listens to us.
I actually really like Giftorm here. He's got look at his form in the last 2 carnivals. He's been knocking on the door all the time, and I thought maybe he was quite a hard, tough horse to win with, but he's actually won twice back in Sweden since, including a Group 3 in July. So, no, I think, look at his form. I mean, he was second to Cool Cowboy off this mark last January or over this trip, and he had a wide passage throughout and shaped really well. And after that, he ran a good race behind One Man Band, where he's never really nearer. But this is such a weaker race than the horses that you're talking about. These are horses that have mixed it in group company since, and there's nothing of that sort of capability at all. And you know, I'd like to have seen him maybe have a run before, but he ran pretty well fresh first up the year before. I think he was fourth to Faulkner, and that race worked out unbelievably well. So I think that was the race that Tamaku's ran in even, actually. So yeah, look, I think his form is really, really strong, and there's so many unconvincing horses in it, and it's not. You know, it's a Swedish horse, and I really don't really like tipping the Scandinavian horses because they rarely win. But this is as good as opportunity they're going to get for a winner at the carnival for me.
Sverig. Yes.
And the good thing is Fernando Har's ridden him before. He's ridden him, twice at the carnival last year. He disappointed on the turf last year, but ultimately, I just wondered whether he needed slightly further. But at least with the draw in stall 2, he'll have a ground staving trip, and as Calmus pointed out, most of the others are so unreliable.
The trip's ideal for me, if I'm honest. I think it's his trip.
He did win over it in.
He's quick.
In July, he won.
Yeah.
Zawi week.
Maybe 7.
Oh well, we'll make him then after the card now then.
Yep, you two can have him. I'll have Sheishi happily.
Maybe 7th is ideal, but like he's quick enough, definitely.
I just don't think Sheishi handled. Well, not really didn't handle it, but I think he's better on the dirt than he is the turf myself. He's not too bad of a horse. He won over 7 furlongs at Jebel Ali last season, but he did also win over 6 furlongs at Meydan the season before that. So for me, I think I'm going to look at Sheishi in this one as an each way poke. Who are you going with, Gary? Are you going with Gift Dawn? No, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. Gift Dawn was going to be my each way tip.
I was just looking at that Group 3 that he won. I think it is Jägersro. He beat a horse called Let's Go For It, who was quite prolific last year at Meydan in that he basically took out the whole parade ring. And he was
he did, didn't he? Yeah, he's a nut.
Yeah. And he travelled like an absolute good thing in the Dubawi Stakes at the front and looked like he was going to win. I think he finished 3rd behind Ronaldo the Wizard. So again, that form stacks up. And I think a lot of people are just going to dismiss it being a Swedish horse. So
yeah, what price have you put him in at?
Can't remember. Not favourite. So I was trying to get the price.
Yeah, gonna say. Yeah.
I tentatively put the Taj in as favourite because just as a jockey booking, but I couldn't have him really.
I'm not sure why he is favourite. Do either of you know? Like, I'm not sure why Jim's picked him over the other two.
Maybe the other two just aren't up to it, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's been a bit disappointing. Maybe he's a spring horse for me, or January, February, March is his sort of time. So we'll see.
He's obviously had issues, hasn't he? He's had issues with the Taj, but the fact that they are continuing to persevere with him, they must think he's capable of running a big race off his current mark, and he should be really, but I just wouldn't want to pay to find out myself. No.
Sam, so you two are going for Gift Dawn, and I'll go for Sheishi in this one.
Yeah.
In the penultimate race, that is, anyway. We move on to District 1 Mansions Handicap. A 1 mile 2 furlong race for 17 runners. 3 runners here for Sheikh Hamdan. Well, 1 reserve. Whistle Stop comes from the Mike de Kock race. He's run 7 days ago, came 6th, improved on his run 7 days prior when he came 9th in the other carnival race. But obviously, he'll need to keep improving. Mutasayid hasn't run for 46 days, with Jim Crowley now on board for Doug Watson. I think Doug Watson said he liked him a lot in one of the interviews I listened to. But there's a few in here you like, isn't there, Callum? Tanaf, Huge Future.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a bad race, but maybe it looks better because some of the other races on the card are so shocking. But look, I think it's a race that has the potential. There's a couple of horses with potential in there. Huge Future, more than anything else, who is pretty lightly raced. I know certain Mr. Luke Elder's a big fan of this horse, and I know he's going to be having a good bet on him, whatever the price is on Thursday.
That I did not want to hear.
Yeah, you were funny. But yeah, I was really impressed with him at Newbury back in June. I thought he would probably needed that run at Newmarket in September, and certainly wasn't disgraced in a pretty muddling race. And then I don't think he appreciated the step up in trip at Doncaster last time. He's definitely a horse that could easily be a group horse around here. I like the jockey booking as well. He could be much better than this mark, but there's one I really like, and I've been waiting to back him first time out, and it's Tanaf, who's a big cliff horse of mine. But there's no way I'm letting him go in on back first time out, because his record fresh is very good. He dead heated in the Qatar Derby in December on his first start, and he also won in his debut. After that, he shaped quite well behind Half a Guinea here back in January over 12 furlongs, and then just lost his way a little bit. He was very disappointing over course and distance in Feb, and then he ran in Doha again. And again, it was an okay run behind the Blue Eye in the big race, but it wasn't quite the level that I think he can make. And I think a mark of 105, he could definitely be a lot better than that. And if he's going to show it, then I think it's going to be first time up with Christophe Simeon on board. And yeah, he ticks a lot of boxes for me. So I'll be going for Tanaf, but I greatly fear Huge Future, I must say. Bar that, I was very surprised that William Buick's chosen Artigiano, or seemingly chosen Artigiano over Folkeswood, because Folkeswood would be an obvious candidate, really, a pretty unexposed horse. And Artigiano's a horse that's only ever won a maiden. That came back in 2012, and he's not a turf horse either, really. I mean, his best recent form's come on dirt, so I couldn't have him one bit, to be honest. And that put me off, along with the cheap pieces, put me off Folkeswood. So, yeah, bar him, maybe whistle stop each way, but Tanaf for me, and I think Huge Future and those two to fight it out, really. I thought they were well clear.
All right, you said Tanaf was £7 greater when he lined up first time out, didn't you?
Yeah, that was probably not literally, but I do think he's a better horse. I don't think he's best when fresh, definitely. I think Mike de Kock said the same, really.
Yeah. Anything you like in here, Gary, at all?
Huge Future, who, I mean, Callum has pointed out some of the reasons why. I mean, he's only had the 5 career starts. He just looks like a typical horse that could often do so well with out here in these turf races. They come over their marks. They seem to improve greatly for going out to Dubai for whatever reason, whatever that may be. But they seem to improve 10 or 12 pounds. So, and I don't think you'd have to improve even that much to probably win this, to be perfectly honest. Obviously, the other Godolphin runner that slightly raced Folkeswood is also interesting. But as Callum pointed out, I mean, yeah, that was slightly disappointing. I thought he should have been winning that race at Yarmouth the last day, but anyway. Again, he's another horse that I say will probably improve for coming out here. Jalapeno and Brex Drago got good form in Italy, but I mean, you're trying to equate that. I don't know anything about the rider on Jalapeno either. We'll just say down at the bottom isn't completely out of it. Something obviously happened in that race at Abu Dhabi, and he seemed to stop quite quickly most recently, but he shaped okay on a couple of runs prior to that, including here, actually, funny enough, on his UAE debut. I think there's grounds for thinking that there's a bit more better to come from him. Now he's been out in UAE over a year, and he's had that summer to get a bit more acclimatised. Hassanov's just been very disappointing, and I'm not surprised to see the headgear go on him. And Rio Tigre will probably run on when it's all too late, as he often does. And we've got 14 now, so we haven't got the 4 places, unfortunately. So I'm happy with Huge Future.
All right, cool. Mutasayid from the Watson yard, they've only had one winner in 35, and Callum said earlier they've only had one winner in the past 2 weeks. So possibly one to not watch, but just see how he does for the future anyway. Personally, I looked at Huge Future. How many times I said future in the past sentence? I think he runs well here. I did like his handicap win when he won over at Newbury. He won by about 2 lengths, and then he came second next time out, and he hasn't done anything since. I do like him a lot. He's got a lot of ability, I think, and he should improve. Ardre de Vries does really well here, as always. So yeah, I think it's a tough race to call, really. And I'm going to side with Gary on this. I'm not sure that's a good thing. But me and Gary, I think we work well together normally. So we'll see how that goes. So Callum's gone with Tanaf, and huge future for me and Gary. Have either of you looked at Jebel Ali on Friday?
Tomorrow's
I had a brief look at the Jebel Ali Mile. Matt DeCott's got a runner, which is very unusual. Salter in Dubai, who didn't really appreciate the kickback that he got on his UAE debut, decided that they're gonna try him in the Jebel Ali Mile. Obviously, Forjat's in there. He obviously has won the race a couple of times in the past. Biggish field actually for the Jebel Ali Mile. It's, to be fair, it's actually worth quite a lot. You know, it's over $500,000 dirhams, so it's a good price to have. Fascinating runner, Salter in Dubai. Whether he'll handle the track or whatever is anybody's guess, but he's probably going to take a fair chunk out of the market. So it might mean that a few of the regulars up the hill will be a bit overpriced. But we'll see.
I got the impression that Salter in Dubai has not been shown much. The fact that he didn't run. I mean, they had the 2 horses on the first week of the carnival, where the other one ran pretty well actually in the Al Maktoum Challenge, and this one ran in the handicap, looked a bit laboured, and now it's running at Jebel Ali. Yeah,
nothing wrong with Jebel Ali. We love you, Jebel Ali.
No, I love Jebel Ali, but it's, you know, it doesn't really scream what Mike DeCock does, really, is it? So.
No, and as I say, he's likely to be favoured and take a fair chunk out of the market. So there could well be a nice little bet each way bet to be had in that race now.
Group 1 penalty, I assume, as well. Grade 1 penalty.
Yeah, he's giving weight. He is giving weight. He's giving 3 kilos of weight to everything else.
Mm.
One of my favourites in here, Nola Hay runs, but he's only won 4 out of 16, so you can't be too hopeful, really. I'm not sure how good he is. In the first, I quite like Insani. He's one of my favourite horses. I don't know why I get attracted to these horses, but some of them just stick out to me more than others, and I prefer them. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up, doesn't it, lads?
Yeah, there's one actually. There's also, I do want to mention quickly on Jebel Ali. In the 5th race, one to keep a close eye on is a horse called King Cole. He's also been following on the all weather. I've just noticed he's actually running on dirt for Doug Watson. He's by Scat Daddy, so he could easily bolt up.
Who's he with?
He's with Doug Watson.
Who was he with?
He was with Robert Cowell, okay. I think.
Yeah.
Still the same ownership, I think, still, isn't he?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and crucially, he's drawn towards he's drawn stall 12 as well, which, it's 6 furlongs, and so far this season, Nearside has very much been the place to be up the hill.
Has been, yeah.
Just look out for Tamaful in that race. He's absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you to Callum and thank you to Gary.
No worries.
Pleasure.
My 2 favourite people in the world. And good luck at Maidan, everyone. Cheers.